how's it going? This is Dan with ATC Knowledge to Progress. How is everyone doing today? Today, Season 2, Episode 5. I am here with Andrews. He is out here. We're going to be talking about being present and many other things. But today is a special day because today is Andrew's birthday. And I'm so grateful and thankful and honored to be here and be here present with him. So thank you so much. I want to go ahead and ask you if you could introduce yourself to the audience.
My name's Andrew. I am an alumni of the Warrior PATHH course. Like you said, it's a special day. It's my birthday, my 40th birthday. And what's really coincidental about that is 2 years ago, on my 38th birthday, I woke up and fell asleep in the NASCAR room during my Warrior PATHH course 7-day in-house.
Yeah.
So 2 years later, here I am, still struggling well, and I am so excited to have Dan ask me to help with this podcast.
And today, we're going to talk about being present. That's the topic today. So, with that said, there's this quote, and it says, "Stop forecasting your future when your history shows resilience. You surprised yourself before, and you'll do it again." What does that mean? What do you think that means?
Well, that quote really talks to me as in how every day the sun's going to come up. Maybe cloudy, maybe raining, tornado on the horizon. But the simple fact that you get to see that sunrise again means at least you've won another time. You've won another round of the earth spinning. So don't look ahead at an obstacle that may be intimidating or fearful, but instead go into it with an open mind, because you've surprised yourself before. You may be able to be the best person at this that you've ever found. Me personally, I have found out one of my methods is music, and I learned to play the harmonica without being able to read music. I can't read a lick of music, not a single note. But I have literally forgotten how many songs I know how to play until I hear it again on the radio.
Yeah.
But the simple fact, I found something that helped me, and it helped me get day to day to day. And it helps me stay present, because when I do play a random song on the harmonica, it just zones out everything, and I can hear it in my head. I can get with the rhythm, and it brings me back to the present if I start to feel like I'm semi-spiraling.
Yeah, resiliency, the word. I actually had a conversation with someone about it, and I kind of emphasized how resiliency helps us to get through things, because sometimes there's things that happen that we don't have time to be able to think about, reflect, and reminisce about. We don't have that time, so we have to be able to be resilient to be able to get through that moment, to get through that event, and then maybe down the road we kind of reflect on what we learned from that thing, right? That thing that we went through. So resiliency is something to make sure we have. So how do we gain resiliency in our life? What does that look like?
Gaining resiliency is, I wouldn't use the word gaining.
Okay.
I would use the word building the resiliency level.
It almost feels like we got a resiliency in creating that capacity within ourselves. Is almost goes hand in hand, right? So before you answer that question, let's go ahead and pause a moment.
Let them pass.
Yeah, let them pass. And
shout out to the first responders, still doing their jobs 24 hours a day. Thank y'all every day.
And so for our listeners, just to let you know, we're outside in a park, and there's going to be a lot of ambience noise. And as you can hear, our first responders out there today doing their job, and we're grateful and appreciative for that. So how do we create the capacity within us to be able to move forward? As I would like to say that, you could almost substitute resiliency with capacity, or vice versa. What do you think?
Building the capacity for resiliency. I feel like no one is born being 100% resilient. I know if I go out in the sun, I'm going to get a sunburn. I'm not resilient to that. But building the capacity to remain resilient is something that everyone deals with, and it goes hand in hand. Sometimes you need help being able to build to have, say, an invisible canister full of your resiliency. As long as you're building up, that canister can get bigger, it can keep filling. And as long as you can see that it keeps filling, don't measure yourself on failures when you can see your resiliency tank is still getting fuller and fuller as you go.
I love that because it just puts things into perspective to understanding what resiliency truly is, and how to create that resiliency. And like you said, there's individuals out there that help us to get that, i.e. our 3 to 5. Now when we talk about our 3 to 5, we're having a conversation about our friends, those that are close to us, those that we will share our deepest traumatic events, or maybe something of a story that we don't tell a lot of people about. So our 3 to 5, those individuals that I trust the most, the ones that are honest with themselves and honest with me. So when we have a conversation pertaining to resiliency and creating capacity, how do your 3 to 5 help you? How do those individuals that support you, that are there when you need them, help you to create that capacity?
So with my 3 to 5, one of them is my father. But my 3 to 5 are diverse because they are specific to me in different situations. Like my dad, the worst thing could be happening in the world, and I can call my father and be like, Dad, I need your help, and he's there. He just proved it to me last week again. I have another friend who, if things are getting kind of shady, I call him. Okay, he can come help, or at least just hang around so nothing goes wrong. My 3 to 5s vary, but they all come back to keep me whole and centered.
Family members and your friends, those that are in your inner circle pertaining to trying to help you be better than you were yesterday, right? And there's this quote that I would like to share with you. Dan Pena said, "Show me your friends, I'll show you your future." What do we mean by that quote? Well, for me, that quote means that your future tends to be driven or guided by those that you hang out with, right?
Yes.
You want to hang out with successful individuals because then you'll become successful. You hang out with someone that does podcasting a lot, you're more likely going to start your own podcast. So that's what we talk about. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. How does that resonate with you?
With that quote specifically, I can think of one very specific person. He's been my best friend for 20 years. And like I said earlier, music really helped me. After the Army and the Struggle Well program and its theories, it's funny because he can play about every instrument under the sun without trying. He can play guitar like Slash. He plays drums like Metallica. It's crazy. He cannot play the harmonica. He can read. He tried to teach me to read music. That didn't stick. I cannot read music, but I can. He's like, come on over, play with me. And just the simple fact that the harmonica helped me with my resiliency and Struggle Well and 3 to 5, because he was a musician, it all helped, and he helped me.
Yeah.
And I got out of my head, and it was great. Just those 3 to 5s, you never know when everything comes together, and it's going to come together for a reason, and you don't know when, but it does.
Yeah, it's amazing how sometimes you don't even know that you're headed in that direction until you reflect back and you wonder, man, how did I get here? And then you realize that a lot of your friends are doing the same thing that you're doing, and you're like, whoa, shoot. That's kind of because I'm hanging out with them all the time, or that's because I'm being influenced by their positiveness, right? I've had individuals where I went through my academic path in reference to college, right? So here I'm kind of inspiring others, and next thing you know is I got individuals signing up to go school. So
Yeah.
but that's because they're around me, right? And they're having conversations.
And they can see how well you've gotten yourself, so they want to try to reflect that upon themselves.
Yeah.
Well, he did it, and I believe he did it. He's a good guy, and I can do it too.
Yeah.
And those 3 to 5s help build the capacity for your resiliency tank to get full.
Yeah.
To become more full.
Yeah, and they inspire you to be able to try something. Because I always say that just because you try something and you may fail, it's not really failure, because you learned something. You learned a life lesson, right? And you don't fail because when you start all over, if you decide to get back up and try again, you don't start from the same start point, right?
I personally do not like needles. I am an Army veteran. I went through all of my Army career without a piercing, without a tattoo, all of my life, up until the week after I got out of my 7-day in course, and then I got a tattoo. But you were talking about failure shouldn't stop you. In the tattoo I have, I wanted to get something else to reflect on the other side, and I've been thinking really hard. 4 letters, and then also 4 letters, I came across an acronym, FAIL. And I don't know if you're familiar, it's first attempt in learning.
Okay, I like that.
If you look at it like that, with a different perspective. So it's never a failure. Yeah, okay, I failed. Failed means you quit. Failed, passed. Fail, first attempt in learning.
Yeah, that's really profound. And we talk about how we could view things in a different way, right? Being curious, or just reflecting on things. Because when you talk about fail, like, a lot of people automatically go into this negative thought of, well, I fail, that's it, I'm done, right? If we look at it, fail as an acronym,
First attempt in learning.
First attempt in learning, that in itself is like, okay, well, let me get back up. It was a resiliency moment in my life, right? Coming back around, resiliency. And I have the capacity to be able to get back up and take on, again, another attempt. And again, if that happens, well, I guarantee you that you'll be again ahead of the curve. You know, I attempted the PMP certification twice, and I failed. However, that didn't mean that I stopped from trying. So, did I really fail? No, I was attempting to become a project manager, and I tried to take the PMP certification. I failed it twice. However, I still found a position as a project manager for 3.5 years. So, did I need that PMP certification? No. However, I did get my applied management, which falls under that project manager. So I found a different route to get that position. So there's many ways to get to where you want to get to, and that I didn't even think about that because here I was so focused on trying to get my certification. When I went to apply, they looked at my application or my resume, and they said, "Oh shoot, you have your applied management, bachelor's degree in applied management." Oh, like, oh, there you go. Like, well, man, I didn't really have to try twice to get my PMP. Now I did still. Anyway, that's another story.
When I wanted to add to that, the FAIL acronym, first attempt in learning. When I first heard about that, I was in awe. But then I reflected on that longer, and then I came up with a phrase in my head: fail to sail. Doesn't make sense out loud, but fail, now that you know what the acronym stands for, SAIL, S-A-I-L, like sail ship, sailing a boat, second attempt in learning. So you go fail to sail. So it's first, second, and if I put a third, that's not going to make a word that makes sense, but fail to sail, it just reminds me that you can try, you may not win, you may not succeed. You may find it interesting enough and you're resilient enough to try again. And again, not boasting, but the harmonica I am rather decent at. However, a lot of people don't like it when you're learning to get decent at the harmonica, because it is not one of those instruments. It's like when the kids get sent home with recorders and they're like, learn how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb, and you want to scratch your eyebrows off. But at first I wasn't good. At first it sounded like dying cats. Of course. But now I can play Elton John. I can play King of Wishful Thinking by Go West. I can play this brings up a point. I have forgotten how many songs I know how to play until I hear it on the radio, and it's like Journey, I Don't Stop Believing. Oh yeah, I remember how to play that song. Yeah. And just now that I'm good at it and I see the resiliency of myself, and sometimes you have to not care about what others think on their own opinional level, because I was practicing, I'm practicing. I'm gonna not be bad. I'm not gonna be good at it. That's what practicing is for.
Yeah.
And my family, they're like, oh yeah, he knows how to play the harmonica. When I show it to other people, they're like, they're in awe. They're like, wow, that's awesome. But my family doesn't think that way, because they heard me getting better, and they're like, that's not it yet. Keep going, buddy. You kinda. But now that I have it, it's a really helpful tool when I'm overwhelmed, or if I need to be present, and all the good techniques that I've learned. The harmonica is by far one of my best struggle well instruments, and it's versatile. I could take it with me. I could be in a car pickup line. It costs nothing except my own air.
Yep. Speaking of music, I want to ask you a question. What is that one song that takes you to a positive place and a positive mindset? I mean, there might be a story behind it. What is that one song?
If I had to think of a song, it would be King of Wishful Thinking by Go West. And I remember when I was young, you know, I'd be getting ready for school. My mom would be getting ready for work, but she'd have the TV on VH1, playing it so loud, singing along to it. So I knew all the words before I was even 10.
So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and play that song right now. And then I'm going to ask you more questions while it's playing. All right? So let's go ahead and check out his song, Wishful Thinking. Okay.
A little bit longer. It just gets you kind of in that bouncing your head kind of vibe, even just the beginning.
Yeah, I like that.
Here it comes.
I don't need to fall at your feet, just cause you cut me to the bone. And I won't miss the way that you kiss me. We were never carved in stone. If I don't listen to the talk of the town, then maybe I can fool myself. I'll get over you. I know I will. I'll pretend my ship's not sinking, and I'll tell myself I'm over you, 'cause I'm the king of wishful thinking.
All right. So where does that take you to?
That takes me back to Summerville, South Carolina. Just free dancing in my mom and dad's bedroom while mom's getting ready for work, and she's got the TV on, and I'm just waiting for her to be done.
Oh man, I love the beat, man. I love the beat. Let's keep on hearing it.
I don't wanna let you see, no, that you have made a hole in my heart, and now I've got to fool myself.
Here we go.
I'll get over you. I know I will. I pretend my ship's not sinking, and I'll tell myself I'm over you, 'cause I'm the king of wishful thinking. I know I will. I'll pretend my ship's not sinking, and I'll tell myself I'm over you, 'cause I'm the
Oh man, yeah, that's real awesome. I've never heard of that song, to be honest.
If you would have kept going at the end, it really takes it up because he does. And what's really interesting is it's only two guys, the singer and the guitarist. And the guitarist put down the tracks for all the other stuff way back in the 80s and edited it all together. So it's only two guys.
Wow.
The lead singer who plays no instruments and the guitarist. They're still around doing concerts. If they ever came through, man.
Oh man, well I appreciate you sharing that because for every song there's a story, right?
Yep.
And for me there's many, and that's one that I'm gonna put on my Spotify.
Just the rhythm and the sound and all the other instruments, like, because I've heard it so many times. That's one of the ones that I can play really well on my harmonica.
So with that said, I want to go ahead and ask you if you could pop up your harmonica and share with the audience.
Okay, I can play a little. I can play just the chorus part that most people know, and that's when they pick up and start singing along with it. Just the chorus of the entire song.
Andrew and his harmonica, exclusive here in podcast A2C Knowledge to Progress. Man, that was awesome. That was awesome. I appreciate you sharing. Thank you so much.
I love playing. It always makes me feel better just playing it by myself. My schedule is very wild and about. I'm driving kids to practices, picking them up from school, doctor's appointments, car stuff. But at least once a day, I'll play a song. My grandfather, who was in the Navy in World War II, had perfect pitch. He was the cob of a submarine, chief of the boat.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did, classified, all that good stuff, but he had a harmonica, which I now own. It's in my house, and it was a Hohner made in West Germany harmonica with a sharp flat button on the side.
Yeah.
When I was 15, I learned how to play When the Saints Go Marching In on it. It's an old thing. When you put it up, it tastes like you walk in the ship. You know that metal taste?
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole harmonica's got that taste. But I learned When the Saints Go Marching In. Then I set it down, forgot about it, went about, high school, went to the work, and then Army, everything came back after the Army, and trying to find something to do to occupy my time. And now, I could walk around downtown or just on the streets and zone out, but still pay attention to where I'm walking and just play music because of muscle memory on how it goes.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times people I've walked past them, they sing along to what I'm playing, or they're just like, I love that song. Oh, you're so good at it. My family still, on the other hand, they're like, yeah, you can play the harmonica, thumbs up. But they heard me getting good.
Yeah.
But the harmonica itself, it brightens the feelings of everyone around you.
Yeah.
You could be in the worst mood of your life, but a simple song on the harmonica, I see trees of green, I could play that one, and I walk down the street, and you never know that people could be having a bad day. They won't even interact with you, but they hear that and they're like, I've never heard someone play a harmonica and play that song. That was nice.
Yeah.
And for just a moment, it'll get them out of their heads of their bad situations.
That's you influencing others with positive energy, right?
I try to. If you can. I tell my son, who's on a baseball team, who is the best baseball player on the team? The baseball player that tries to make all of his teammates better.
So that concludes episode 5. Thank you so much, Andrew, for coming out. Appreciate you. Happy birthday again.
Thank you.
And everyone, as always, I catch you on the flip side.